Wingman Joker, thank you for listening to this channel and please support the channel. Please subscribe. Chapter 01. The Beauty and the Maniac. Adrian dropped the blood-laced brush to the ground, then slowly stood up, stepped back, and looked with content at the magical pentagram he had just finished drawing. This is really your last chance. Are you really wasting it on this rubbish? His pretty secretary asked. If he were to fail to present results before the end of the week, she would have to go hunt for a new job. Definitely. Magic is not rubbish. Just because you can't see a thing, it doesn't mean it does not exist. Adrian said as he reached for a nearby cage, and from it, he began taking rabbits out one by one. He slit their throats swiftly using his ceremonial knife, throwing them at certain points around the magical circle without letting their blood touch him. It was as if he had done this thousands of times. The board had already warned you. If you do not stop your crazy ventures, they are intending to kick you out. Your brothers might even put you in some asylum to take away your shares. She said, not caring for what he was doing. She had seen him do many weird things throughout the years, and killing rabbits was not the strangest occurrence. It will be your 18th birthday in a week, and they will definitely move after that. She added a word of advice. Don't worry, I already know what they are planning. They are just too stupid to realize that they are puppets. Those idiots are only there because I wanted them to be, he said dismissively, and after tomorrow they will be in so much shit trying to distance themselves from me that they will have no time or energy to care about a pointless power grab. They will shake on the mere mention of my name. He smirked. Pointless? What the hell did you do? She asked, ignoring his smile that could have captivated any other girl, but not her. Being with him for so long, she knew that beyond this smile was a crazy lunatic. This bastard must have been planning to bring them down with him if he ever fell. You will see, he shrugged. She sighed. Seriously, thanks to your inventions you could have lived like a king after establishing the company. You could have even married a famous actress, maybe more than one if you immigrated to some other country. She sighed again. Do you have to antagonize everyone and burn money like this doing all these crazy things like magic and alchemy? Feeling that he was being a little honest with her, she decided to confront him. Triss, how long have you been with me? Adrian asked as he reached to the side of the room where a metal box was placed. He began to push it with difficulty to the center of the magic circle. It was right after I graduated. 5 years and 9 months ago. You hired me to be your assistant right after you got your first $1 million. She said, showing no intention of helping him. The box seemed very heavy and she would need her back intact next week, when she would need to go job hunting. Those stupid bastards on the board would definitely ruin the company after getting rid of him. Then you should have seen my research. For many millennia in the past, people believed and practiced magic. Only recently have they stopped doing so, he said as he adjusted the box in its place. He turned to face Triss as he caught his breath. Do you know why? Because we became smart. Because of the scientific method that proved magic doesn't exist. She decided to humor him and answer like someone with her triple doctoral degrees should. That is the most foolish answer I have ever heard. I thought you were smarter than that. Adrian said, shaking his head and making her consider for the 100th time kicking his ass. Then what would be a smart answer? She asked with annoyance. She never liked her smart-ass teenage boss. Although he was way smarter, richer and maybe a little more handsome than her, he wasted all of his potential pursuing mythical things instead of doing something good. If it were not for the generous paycheck he gave her every month, she would have left him long ago. Magic stopped being practiced because it stopped working, he said as his eyes darted onto the roof as if they were looking into the distance. If someday electricity stopped working, would people thousands of years ago believe it worked? Hell, they would start doubting it after only 100 years. They will find all the books we wrote on it. All the machines we used. They will know that those can never be all fake. No, most of our books are getting digitized nowadays, and the machines would stop working without electricity. He said, they would be repurposed to work manually or sold for scabs. They would be the easiest to disassemble after a society collapses. He said, they would dig our trash. It is full of electronics. Plastics will last a long time. She said, they might, but again without knowing the purpose of those things, the skeptics would start creating some stupid theories. Some people would remember. Yes, in folk tales. I confess you had a point there. He nodded, pondering for a second. But, what if magic was hundreds of times stronger than electricity? What if its secrets were kept hidden by the select few who could use it in the first place? Much less of it would be left, he said, making a point as he pondered a little. Those are just baseless presumptions, she said. For you, they are, for me they aren't. he said mysteriously as he reached inside his pocket. Triss frowned and expected him to show her some obscure artifact that he found as always did, but what he pulled out this time was just a folded brown envelope that he handed to her. "This is your last paycheck, with a little bonus for the help you gave me all these years. I wouldn't have been able to reach this point easily without you," he said, telling the truth. Although he liked her far less than she ever liked him, he had to confess, as one of the smartest people in the world, she was pretty useful. "So you know that you are screwed," she said, her eyes squinted as she opened the envelope and took the paycheck inside. "No, the screwed ones are everybody else," he said casually. She ignored him and squinted her eyes to double-check the number on the check. There were many zeros next to it. Her maniac boss had finally done something beneficial to her. She didn't need to go search for a new job after all. "Are you sure you want to give me all this money?" she asked, "just in case. After I pay the taxes, I may disappear and you will never hear from me ever again." She added jokingly, "Yup, that's the point, you better cash that thing before midnight though," he said, opening the metal lead box and then smiling at the thing inside. "Oh, why?" she pondered as she gave the insides of the box a glance, then, without waiting for him to answer, she approached it and inspected it, just to make sure what she was looking at. She gasped. "Yup, that's why," he said calmly. "Shit, is that what she thought it was?" "Yes, quote. "You maniac," she stuttered as she stepped back in shock. In the box, there was a bomb, a fusion nuclear bomb to be exact. The one that was reported stolen a month ago. The entire country had been on high alert searching for it, posting its photos on the news day and night, turning every stone to try and find it. The problem with magic is that it requires a ton of energy to activate. You see, magic particles, unlike electrons, are very energy dense as they are not a part of the reality fabric. That's why they are not feasible in this world, he casually explained as he smiled like the crazy maniac he was. "You plan to blow yourself up with this mountain?" she asked nervously, not caring about anything he said about magic. "Yes, this will help me return to my original world," he said with a smile. "Original world? Yup, as I kept telling you all my life. I am not from this world. I don't know what kind of drug you have been taking," Triss said, "but if this thing explodes you will definitely die," she reminded him, ignoring his crazy statements as usual. "Nope, I will live a long prosperous life and maybe be able to marry before you do," he said, hitting her weak point directly. "Bastard, I can marry any day I want," she declared for the 1249th time. "I just didn't find the right one yet. I hope you do, just lower your expectations a bit," he said with a shrug. "You can leave now, quote. "You are really going to do it?" she asked, finally realizing what he meant by saying that his family would be in deep shit. "Yup, shit." Triss hesitated for a second then turned around and left without sparing her now former boss another glance. She was always this cold. But that's why he hired her. "Remember to cash the check and disappear before the authorities start asking questions," he yelled after her. "I gave you enough to live 2 lifetimes in luxury and marry all the men you like," he added casually, making her almost stumble and fall as she quickly left. He chuckled and turned to face the bomb. He just needed to finish a few things before his ticket home was ready.